All right, hello, welcome to the weather update. It is September 8th, 2022, and we had a pretty nice day, especially in the afternoon, clearing skies. You could see those cumulus clouds kind of broke up. They were still lingering over New Jersey and upstate, but pretty much most of Long Island, except for the east end, was mostly sunny in the afternoon. You do see a couple of wisps of smoke, though, there. If you look closely, you can see there's a couple of wisps right there, a little bit of it. We'll have to see if that's going to affect us. We will look at the smoke models as well. Other than that, we're fairly clear. And yeah, I got to the Pines for a little bit today in the afternoon. And it was nice at Argyle Lake, too. We had a sea breeze. So it was nice and cool today, especially in that later part of the afternoon. And right now, we have temperatures generally in the mid-60s, 64 at Islip, 62 at Dix Hills. I don't see Farmingdale near, maybe 68 at Farmingdale, 65 in Carl Place, but man, the alley is still 72. You know, right in there with LaGuardia. See, LaGuardia's 72. 68 at Central Park. And look at that. The Pine Barrens also 57 in West Hampton, already dropping. They're going to get down to the low, maybe even some 40s tonight. Let's take a look and see how it is in New Jersey. 62 in Toms River. It's cooler in Toms River than it is in many parts of Nassau County. Low 60s there, cooling off. We're going to have good conditions for that radiational cooling tonight. And you see, looking at the dew points in the 50s. We have low humidity. That's what's going to set the stage for some good radiation cooling. Low humidity, light winds, clear skies. That all sets the stage for that radiational cooling. So let's go take a look, and you can see there dew points a little higher around Toms River, around 60. So let's go to, we'll start off first and take a look at what the day was like in Shirley. And we'll do Shirley for a change. We're trying to show you what it's like in the Pine Barrens of Long Island. So you can see highs were generally in the mid-70s, northeast to east winds. Looks like they never actually got a sea breeze over there. Wind stayed northeasterly over there. Dew points generally in the mid-50s. All right. But there was a sea breeze as we get on the South Shore. There was definitely a sea breeze. So if you look at JFK, for instance, you'll see that there was actually a sea breeze. The winds did become southeasterly for a little bit. There you go, south-southeast. And that happened right after 5 o'clock or so. Yeah, right when I got to Babylon, it happened with sea breeze kicked in for a little bit. And then the winds went back to more of a northerly direction. And taking a look and see what the day was like. I was hoping we'd see the Bayville station, because that one I like to use, but apparently it's missing. So we're not going to be able to look at that station. We have a station in downtown Toms River, NJNet. We can look at that instead. See what the day was like there. So generally mid-70s. Dew points were a little higher, but that easterly wind off the water actually might have kept them just as cool as here. So let's go take a look at what our highs were across the area today. And I'm sure we'll see highs generally in the mid-70s throughout the day. Let's see. Yeah, mid-70s. Well, actually upper 70s. So near 80, I guess the highs briefly touched that. Temperatures briefly touched that. And a little cooler in Jersey, actually, mid-70s. You'll notice there's a coastal flood advisory in effect because of the swells from Earl. That'll lead us into talking about Earl right now. You'll see that Danielle is now extratropical and not being tracked anymore. Let's look at the latest public advisory from Hurricane Earl. Tropical storm conditions expected in Bermuda soon. As of 8 p.m., location is 30.6 north, 64.3 west, about 120 miles south-southeast of Bermuda. Maximum sustained winds are 100 miles an hour, moving north-northeast at 16 miles an hour. Minimum sun suppression 962 millibars to 8.41 inches. And maximum sustained winds have increased, and strengthening is still possible. It's expected to become a major hurricane by tomorrow, so it could be probably Category 3 or even Category 4 possible. And then hurricane force winds extend out to 60 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 185 miles from the center. The latest minimums area, we already covered that. So let's look at the map, and we'll look at some images of Earl. Let's first look at the cone map, and you'll see it mostly stays out of the ocean. It's going to be a major hurricane, too. Look at how almost at 40 degrees it's going to become a major hurricane, and then they have becoming extratropical as it reaches further north here. They have it becoming post-tropical, extratropical, and clearly it's going to have tropical characteristics. And the whole eastern seaboard is going to feel the surf from this system. And I forgot to put tropical tidbits up here. Yeah, I forgot to do that. Yep. So let's get tropical tidbits up. And so here's a nice look at the wide view of the Atlantic satellite. You can see, look at that. There's Earl. Look at that. You can clearly see Earl. There's K already inland. But yeah, that's pretty impressive. So let's go to the current storms here, and we'll take a look at the satellite imagery of Earl, and we're going to also look at on the other. You can see again, Big Eye, again, another big-eyed storm. And yep, see that convection popping around the center. That is a sign of a strengthening hurricane. We can also use this, the GOES image, and we can go to the storms, and we can look at Earl on here. So here's Earl, and again, you'll see daylight transition into the infrared, and clearly see all that convection popping up around the center. That's a healthy hurricane right there. And there's Bermuda right there. So it's going to get brushed by it. Bermuda, it's going to come close. Conditions on Bermuda are going to be rough, but not as bad as they could have been had this thing been a little further to the west. So luckily, Bermuda misses this storm. And we can look at it also on here on the MODIS. There's Earl looking absolutely perfect. Look at that. There's Earl looking absolutely perfect. Ooh, you can see the diamond eye, right? And you have a diamond eye. That is a sign of a really rapidly intensifying hurricane right there. That is huge, too, by the way. We can also look at Danielle, or what's left of Danielle. They are post-tropical storms, still something you really don't want to mess with. And then we have K over here that is moving in over Baja. And then note all these wildfires burning here in California, by the way. So we can note that, too. We have a huge one here. I think one of them is called the Mosquito Fire. Then they have another fire that's near L.A., but I think this is considered the Mosquito Fire. I'm not sure. And then another huge fire going on in Oregon right now. And then more fires here in Washington and Idaho, a whole bunch of them. And this is why I'm a little concerned about maybe we're going to have to deal with some of this smoke. Hopefully not tomorrow, but I think we're going to have to start dealing with it as we get toward the weekend here. You can see all that smoke there. And then if you pull this out all the way, all the smoke over South America, too. What the heck is going on here? So I don't know what's going on. I think they're trying to burn down the rainforest. I know that. That's probably what's going on. But, man, this is horrible. It really is. But anyway, let's get back to the tropics. We're getting off track here. Let's look at the latest models again with Earl. And you'll see, again, takes it pretty much, keeps it offshore. But, again, we're going to see that elevated surf. Here is your intensity guidance. Now they seem to be backing off on it becoming Category 4, but I still think it could become a Category 3 by tomorrow. So let's go and take a look. And it's partially because Danielle churned up the waters a little bit, so maybe that might help keep it from becoming too crazy. But anyway, let's go to the next storm here. Next storm here, which is going, let's go back to the National Hurricane Center, which I must have removed. I don't see it here. NHC. All right, so let's go to the Eastern Pacific and talk about Tropical Storm K. It has now moved inland here. And you can see K continues to bring very heavy rains to parts of the Baja, California. As of 6 p.m., location 27.8 north, 11.46 west, about 30 miles east of Punta Eugenia, Mexico, and about 370 miles south-southeast of San Diego, California. When do you ever get to say that? Still a very strong tropical storm. Maximum staying winds at 70 miles an hour, moving north-northwest at 14 miles an hour. And if we go back to the map here and our warning cone, you'll see tropical storm warnings now. It looks like they're in effect for the entirety of the Baja, and we'll have to see if San Diego winds up getting included in that or not. But it could bring some rain to parts of Southern California, at least parts. So let's go to the models next, and we will go and take a look and see how our weekend's going to be. Obviously, these storms are going to be pretty remarkable here, but luckily they stay offshore. We will go ahead and look at them a little bit here as we go into the wide view here of the North America, so you get a chance to look and see where they're going to go here. Earl is just going to track offshore, and you can see it's deepening. This is the GFS. It brings it really close to the tip of Newfoundland, and then it kind of just gets stuck over there. Eventually, the remnants might make it all the way up into Greenland, perhaps. But it's going to stay. It's going to stay offshore. And if we look at the actual hurricane models here, which we can look at. We can take the GFS and use this to actually follow Earl along its journey and take a look at like the wind field. All right, of it. All right, so this is the wind field of it. So we can follow Earl, and you can see here that it at least holds on to its strength, and then finally by Sunday starts to weaken. So let's go back to the CONUS view. All right. And again, there's Earl staying far away. The only thing we're going to see is the surf. High pressure in place for us. High pressure stays in place for us on Saturday as well. Almost crests right overhead. Then we start seeing that return flow on Sunday that's going to bring in more humidity. The chance for rain, and the Monday into Tuesday would be our next chance of rain before improving conditions on Wednesday. So let's go take a look at the HRRR model. So here is the HRRR, and obviously nothing to show with precip. I'm not even going to bother here. We'll look at the winds, and you'll see northeast winds becoming a little more easterly tomorrow. Dew point's still fairly comfortable. And then they become more onshore during the evening. And then for Saturday, we actually start off with the north wind again. Starting off with the north wind, then becoming south. But that keeps the dew point still low. The dew points really stay pretty comfortable through Saturday. Looking at the temperatures as we go into tomorrow, highs, I think it underestimated the highs today, this model. So figure low 80s tomorrow for highs. I think this is underestimating it. Lows at night again. Friday night could drop into the 60s, 50s for the Pine Barrens, and the alley probably only gets into maybe the upper 60s if it's lucky. Saturday will be a little warmer. We'll probably have more like mid-80s. Again, this model, I think, is underestimating it a little bit. Let's go take a look at the GFS. Don't bother using this. It is underestimating for whatever reason. So here's the GFS. This is a little more in line with what we'll see tomorrow. So highs around 80 degrees, and then for your Saturday, you'll see highs in the mid-80s, so it'll be a lot warmer. And we'll go look at the dew points from here. You can see dew points still stay fairly comfortable. Here's the wind flow again for your Friday. Again, easterly flow, going to bring us nice, comfortable conditions. And then still comfortable humidity levels on Saturday. And then for Sunday, we see more of a killer. We see a killer west wind, which may not be good. It may be kind of hot with a west wind, but the dew points still on Long Island staying manageable, coming up a little bit in New Jersey. But if we transition this over to the temperatures, for some reason it doesn't have it that hot, so it's probably got a lot of clouds around on Sunday, perhaps. Maybe some rain chances, perhaps. We'll look at the precipitation here. Not showing any rain chances, but those rain chances would come on Monday, but we're not going to really talk about that. We're going to just mainly cover the weekend right now, tonight and tomorrow. So let's go take a look at the skies. Obviously, let's go back this up to tomorrow, and you'll see fairly clear skies across the area, and clear skies to start on Saturday, and I think really for much of the day until the cirrus rolls in. However, we could have some of that smoke, so we're going to have to look at that. And then Sunday, we're going to be dealing with a lot more clouds. Look at a couple of other cloud models. Let's look at the NAM. I don't have enough of the 0Z in to really... NAM's kind of aggressive with the clouds on, I notice. So here's the NAM, and you'll see it's a little more aggressive with the clouds, bringing some clouds into the Jersey shore, keeping most of Long Island clear. However, on that last frame, it was pretty aggressive with the clouds. It's bringing a lot of clouds into Jersey. And then Saturday, it's got a little more in the way of clouds. It's kind of being aggressive with the clouds. Look at the 0Z run. It's really, as a 14Z, it's still got a lot of clouds over us. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm really buying that. I think it's being a little too aggressive with the clouds. I can see a little bit on the Jersey shore maybe. But well, anyway, here's the RGEM. All right, same thing. Clear on Friday. And then Saturday, we have to watch for maybe some of those high clouds again, increasing especially as we get toward the afternoon. Again, there could be smoke and haze around and stuff like that. We'll have to look at, again, the HRRR smoke model. Let's go to that next. All right, so here we go. We are going to look at the vertically integrated smoke loop, which will give us a loop and show what's going to happen as the smoke from wildfires out west starts affecting our area. So here's the loop. Looks like we'll be good tomorrow, but you can see it to the north there. We'll have to see. It looks like it's trying to possibly get into our area by Saturday. So we'll have to look. We only get a day out of this. It looks good for tomorrow, but I think as we get into Saturday, I think we may have to start dealing with some of that smoke. We'll have to see. But you can see it's all coming from the west. Look at that. That's amazing. It just shows you how bad things are out over there with everything. So I think that's gonna wrap up the weather. I think it feels like I am leaving something out. So we'll just go to the windy model and look at the waves, the surf. So here we go. We'll look at the waves. And you can see here the waves from Earl. And again, if we look at Bermuda here, yeah, they're going to get some pretty big waves just off Hamilton. Yeah, almost 30 foot there. And then it moves away. And you see it becomes a pretty powerful storm here. It's Friday. And you can see we're on the edge of that influence here. That influence, luckily, its track stays far enough east that it's just going to be a slight influence for us. But look at that. In the middle of this storm here, you know, I mean, 50-foot waves possible. It's pretty insane. You go into Saturday. I think you're going to see more impacts in, like, Nova Scotia, and especially in Newfoundland, like St. John's here, south of St. John's, 15-foot. They do have a rugged coastline, so that helps to, you know, minimize the flooding. But the Euro seems to really take this thing close to Nova Scotia. So if we look at the winds here, which we'll switch this over to wind, it actually takes us close. Takes it pretty close to Nova Scotia. So they may have to deal with some winds over there. These are sustained winds, by the way, that we're looking at. We're actually on the lighter end of the wind scale. If we back this up, here it is now. This is the lighter end of the wind scale. All right. So it's more like this. All right. Well, that might be a little excessive, but somewhere in between the two here. But again, we can track Earl here and look at Earl, and you can see it's going to strengthen. Here we are tomorrow. You can see it's strengthening and picking up strength as it moves northward. I think it's going to peak in strength tomorrow evening. You could see, and again, look at that. That is on the low end. All right, so sustained winds. If we go to this, you'll see it could be definitely a good strong. It's going to undergo rapid intensification because it's got that look like it's going to do that. Here we go into Saturday. That's why I like using the tidbits, because it shows more of a constant wind here. But you can see really, you can see there's going to be some effects here, especially, this thing is just incredible. I mean, look at this thing, and we move this along here, you see. Kind of just gets stuck there off Nova Scotia. So, kind of gets stuck. So, anyway, I think that's going to wrap up the weather update. So, yeah, all the action, fortunately, Earl is staying out to sea. But what a storm it is. And Bermuda definitely having a nasty evening tonight. Luckily, the worst of it is missing them. But I imagine the waves that they are getting must be pretty insane right now. So, thank you for watching and have a good night.